Hi, everybody. Hey, how's everybody today? Oh my gosh. We've already got some people here showing up already, waiting for us. Isn't that great? This is Sal.
Hi.
I'm going to share this to my group and my page. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll get into the meat of the stuff. So, and I'll introduce you to Sal as well. I'm so excited to have her here today. It's just awesome. So I'm just going to share this. If you would share this along to others too that could benefit from this information, we would greatly appreciate it. So I'm sharing this to a couple of places. This is always like the beginning housekeeping of stuff.
Yes.
All right, and then I will tell you all about Sal. Ooh, one more, and then I'm all set. Here we go. Great. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in here. Oh, we've got Demetrius from London. We've got Millie from Puerto Rico. Wow. Who else we got here? Lydia. Hey, Lydia. Nice to see you. Lori. Wow. Great. You can hear me fine? Oh, okay, good. Thank you. I just have to do a sound check too, so thank you. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Jennifer, Loya, Serafina, Helen, nice to see you all. Thank you so much. Rachel, Eric, Doris, hi. This is Sal Jade. I am so excited to have Sal. She is one of my mentors, and I've taken several of her courses, and I continue to do so, and I love her energy, and she's a beautiful soul, and I was so excited when she wanted to do this with me that I was just like, ah! So let me tell you a bit about Sal, and then we can tell you what we're doing today. Sal is a clairvoyant healer, psychic healing coach, theta healer, liquid crystal practitioner, and psychic reader. And of course, she has created several courses. And if you're interested in some of those, she does them on tapping, how to create, or how to actually structure a spiritual business, so you can do this as a business. How to interpret and read tarot cards and give readings. She also has courses on past life therapy and how to develop your psychic gifts. And I've taken many of those courses, and I love them. And the more she develops courses, the more I take. So, so welcome, Sal. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have just a moment? Just want to say hi to the group. We've got 24 people watching from all over the world already.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. This is just such a privilege, and I've been hearing about this lovely group, and Debbie's really talked up about how much fun you guys have been having in these interviews, so I'm really excited to see what's going to come through for us today as I hopefully help you guys a little bit more on your journey, and hopefully can share some information with you that's helpful.
Yes, absolutely. Sal is going to stick around till the end. So Sal is going to do a group card, one card reading for us, a group message, if you will. So stick around till the end. But something that we'll take your questions, of course, on spiritual development, psychic development, of course, angels, crystals, any of that sort of thing. But while we have Sal here, of course, if you have any questions about any of those things I mentioned, please ask. And I will post her, here, I can show it now, her website, so you can get in touch with her for readings or healings or anything. At the end, I will post her Facebook page and her course page. So if you're interested in any of her courses too, you can look into those as well, and they're very reasonable. So we'll get started, and something that we kind of talked about a little bit about, and please ask questions along the way too. We'll just take them as they come. But something that we were talking about earlier is, when we're on our spiritual journey, things kind of develop and happen, and they just kind of happen unexpectedly, and we're not really sure how to develop that further, or we're not really sure what it means. And it just, I don't know, my psychic gifts actually just kind of fell into my lap like overnight, not all at once. It's been a process, but, and I didn't really know a lot about them until I started studying about them and learning about them and developing them. And so we thought that might be kind of a good starting point of a discussion. So, Sal, what would you like to start off with about, when on our own journeys, we're all on our own spiritual journeys, and we're all developing our own psychic gifts, if you will. Some like to call it psychic, some spiritual, whichever the case may be. What are some of the signs? What are some of the things that some of our viewers can focus on? What are some of the things that they can work on to develop those things further? And of course, when you have questions along the way, we'll post them and Sal can answer the questions. So please, let's just dive in and see where this goes. All right.
Well, probably when people often in my courses, they ask me that question of, how do I know it's a sign or not? And that's like a perfectly understandable question, because what can happen is something incredible might come in, like we might just get a flash of a vision or a really strong feeling that something bad's going to happen, or we might just get an urge or a nudge to go in a certain direction and then something great happens. And we can often doubt that, and we can often then go, oh, look, that was just a coincidence, and it's not really going to happen. And often what I see is then people start really thinking about it and challenging their preconceived beliefs, so that, okay, maybe there is something out there helping me, maybe there is more to this, maybe angels are around me, maybe, and they start to believe. And then I think along the way, sadly, people then want it to be as vivid as looking at a movie. And I think the most important thing for anyone who's trying to improve their psychic gifts, or even just to start the path, like even to start to meditate, and even starting to try to deepen your intuition in that way, like just be really conscious that your own unique journey is your beautiful journey. And I honestly believe, like deep in my heart and in my own experience, and after these many years of teaching students psychic development, that it comes in at that right time. And
oh, absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I feel you can't push or rush it. And I often see that that can be really frustrating for people. They might, sign up for a course and go, well, I did that course in a weekend and I'm not psychic. And it's like, when I always say, well, it's like going to the gym. Like it's really great if you can continue to practice any exercises you've learnt. Meditation, I can't stress enough how amazing meditation is. And if you're someone like me who's an Aries with an Aries ascendant, and meditation sometimes feel like going to the dentist. A walk in nature is just the same for me. Like if I just walk around and without going all hippy trippy, I'll hug a tree or I'll sit under a tree, and that's usually enough to lift me out of any kind of fear or anxiety I'm having an experience around my intuition.
Right. Meditation has been a huge opener for me, huge. First, I focused on physical and mental emotion problems I was facing. Then I let the spiritual come in, and it just opened up so many things to me, and it was just an amazing journey. One thing I forgot to mention real quick is our little disclaimer that we are not licensed physicians and we cannot diagnose or prescribe medications. So if you need medical care, please seek that out. And also, we are not doing specific readings today for individuals. We're going to do a group reading at the end, so please stick around for that. So it's a group reading. It's going to be a message for everybody. So I do have a question here, or a comment rather. Cynthia is wanting to learn more about mediumship. So can you point her into the right direction? Where's the starting point?
Look, to be honest, and anyone who knows who's taken my How to Be Psychic course knows that I do not, the traditional mediumship, like there's different forms of mediumship. I'll talk about that a bit first to answer that question. So mediumship, traditionally most people believe that it is being able to channel deceased people or connect with deceased people. But mediumship can also be about connecting and channeling through another person. So they don't have to necessarily have passed over. So you can be tuning into someone to sort of feel what it is that they're feeling and channel that through. And that's a form of mediumship too. So I guess for me, I can teach people how to do that aspect of it, to being able to tune in to sort of feeling what other people are feeling and getting messages from that. However, the deceased area is not my area of expertise, and I can highly recommend the very wonderful Denise Litchfield for that. She's really good. That's her area. But my area itself, in terms of connecting with people that do it, but it's not one of my big gifts, so I don't tend to focus on teaching it. I usually only focus on things that, for me, come really naturally. That's what I usually do.
Yeah,
Cynthia, if you'd like to learn mediumship, my biggest suggestion is to make sure that whoever you learn it through, that they are licensed to teach it, or, that they've got some kind of qualification, or that at least it's something where really feeling protected. Because one thing that scares me development is that I don't think you need to be licensed to teach psychic development. Sorry, that's not where I was going. But I feel like you need to make sure that the people that are teaching you these things are making sure you are protected and that you know how to protect yourself, because, engaging with the spirit world is not something to be taken lightly. It's something that can, and I've met a lot of mediums who have had a lot of trouble with trying to shake off spirits and protect themselves. So however you decide to learn it, I would make sure it's under the guidance of somebody who has a lot of experience and who is really keen to make sure that you are protected psychically in the process.
That's gives awesome. You awesome advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something actually I do. I protect myself morning, noon, and night, even before readings or healings and after readings and healings. I mean, it's all throughout the day. It's just one of those things. Once you start it, it's just kind of like, okay, it's almost automatic. But it's very, very important to learn those things. So
but look, you can start by just your own connecting in with angels. So you can actually, I would start on that lighter path of just, asking angels for messages. So angels, being people that necessarily haven't passed over, and, and asking these light beings for messages. I'd start gently there personally, and then move up to mediumship, because it is quite an intense area. It's a beautiful area. It brings a lot of healing to people who have lost loved ones, and I feel like it's a really powerful medium for that reason.
Yeah. I have Diana here. Does angel heal? Angels, I'm assuming angels heal.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sal. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, look, absolutely. For me, I've had experiences, and I think it's clear, it's important when you're looking at angel healings is to go, and there's different opinions. Some people believe that you connect with the creator or source first and then ask for the healing through the angel. Others believe you can go directly to the angel itself. That's much of a muchness. But at the end of the day, angels heal in so many different ways. Like their energy can heal, but also they heal, and this is probably where I find they heal their energy. They heal me by putting me on the right path. For me, I had really serious uterine fibroids some years back, and I tried a lot of alternative remedies, and a lot of things made it a bit better, but it really wasn't going away. It was something that needed a serious operation, and I resisted it for quite a while, and I did a lot of angel healing on myself. But interestingly enough, the path I went to was that I found this amazing fibroid miracle diet that actually changed my whole life, not just with my fibroids, but with my whole lifestyle, my whole being and happiness.
Oh, wow.
So for me, when I pray to help from the angels for healing, it comes not only in a physical form of light and a physical form of feeling like something's shifting, and sometimes they heal me in my sleep, which is phenomenal. But also it can happen on another level where they're actually just putting you in touch with the right people to take you to another level so that you're self-healing.
Right. I call in the angels to help with healing sessions too, and I call them in to actually help me with my issues personally as well, all the time. I think there's a big hang up with a lot of people are afraid just to ask angels for help. And I think they're there to help us with whatever we need. I think there's a lot of people that think that it needs to be very serious or traumatic event or something, or emergency. But I don't feel that's the case. I think you can ask them anytime for everything, anything.
Yeah, and I feel that's because, we're all better people here on earth if we are feeling safe and comfortable, and if we're feeling our needs are taken care of. And so it makes sense that angels can perform that function for us, even if it's something like them running late for a job interview. And you beg them for a car park and you get it.
I know people who do that too. Yes.
I do that all the time. And look, I do it with technology, and I do it when I'm filming one of my courses and the dog next door starts barking. And I go, please, angels, this is the only time I've got today to film this lecture. Please, can you go be with puppy and calm the puppy and tell the puppy there's no cats or anything? So you can, work with them on that basis. Definitely
work with them every day, and that's something to develop too. I think it's something you develop, that relationship. Today I had a lot of appointments that could have gone kind of like into this time zone, and so I talked to them all this morning and I said, please let this appointment go, stop at this time, this one stop at this time, so everything runs smoothly, so I'm not stressed to get to this point at the end of the day. And everything was beautiful.
Yes.
So
And look, sometimes that's important to think about the angels. They actually help you with your mindset. So I often ask this a lot, actually. I often say, look, I'm not asking the angel to come in and physically shift a mountain for me. I often ask, I go, can you just help calm me down so I can get through this day? Because I know that if I'm calmer, I will be in a much more grounded space to get done everything I need to get done.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So I have something here from Lori. When she was younger, she had a dream that her boyfriend was going to break up with her that day after the school he did. Is that a sign?
That is definitely a sign, and that can exist on many levels. That can exist on, definitely a message from your angels. And it can also be, a message from your unconscious. I mean, that's just a sign that you're quite intuitive. That's a sign that, your intuition was obviously reading something under the surface of non-verbal language, maybe with your boyfriend, where you sensed in your unconscious, maybe he looked funny when you said something and you kind of sensed that something was going to happen, but your conscious hadn't registered it. Definitely. So I had a dream that a dear friend of mine died when I was 17, and in a really painful way. And I woke up crying, and then 2 days later he died, and it was a total tragic accident. And it scared me because it really made me frightened of my gifts. It made me frightened, and it was the first time that I'd really thought, oh my goodness, I don't want to predict people dying. And and yet, interestingly enough, in that moment when I collapsed and cried, it was like there was some kind of comfort there because I'd already been mentally a bit prepared for it, I guess. I'd already gone through a little bit of a trauma.
Yeah.
I'd already woken up crying and going, I can't believe I had that dream, and then it happened. So, maybe in your particular instance, sweetie, that was a moment in time where the angels wanted to give you a bit of preparation for it.
I think something that you hit on too is I think when things happen, and we're not prepared for it, and we're not, I don't know if prepared is the right word, but when things happen and then something happens because of that, I think that does scare a lot of people, and it makes them think, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to go that direction or whatever. But I think the more you develop and trust and learn, and learn how to use these things, it really does open up a beautiful world. So
absolutely.
Here is an interesting, Diana, thank you. What does it mean when I'm happy around animals? I love animals.
Oh, Diana, it means that you are probably someone who in this particular life are deeply connected with animals, and your vibration will resonate hugely with that unconditional love, because that's what animals are. They are unconditional love. They don't have a lot of complications, and they are an amazing gift to humanity, animals. They really are. And I would definitely use that as a tool whenever you're feeling, down in the dumps, or you're going through a bit of a black night of the soul. Then just surround yourself in animals. Stay away from humans. Just go hang out with the animals. what I do.
Yes. Yes,
Absolutely.
connecting with animals is a beautiful thing, I think.
And I think it's because their vibrations are generally so beautiful, and so they're not complicated by a lot of us, like what we get complicated by, and they're not as dominated by ego as we are dominated by ego.
Right.
So it's easier and happier to be around them and to connect with them.
They're so very healing on so many levels too.
Yes.
All right, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Hey, everybody else who's joined us. Thank you so much. We're trying to get through as many questions as we can, and stick around till the end because Sal will do a group card reading for the group message, if you will. So Kathy has dreams of people she doesn't know, but feels like she does know them.
Oh,
what are your thoughts on that?
Look, that's two things for me. Like the first is it can definitely be a past life thing for me. Like I do a lot of past life teaching people about how to access their past lives, because often, and I've had this too, where people come in and I'm like, I know you, but I wake up and I've got no idea who they are. So it can often be a really strong past life coming through. It can also be someone that you might be about to meet. So the American Indians, when they talk about shamanism, they talk about everything that you dream is something that's, already exists on your future landscape. So they could be definitely people that you are going to meet. And they also, I'll give you a third one here because I feel like this happens with me too. Sometimes they can just be, players coming into your stage. If that makes sense, they can just be, because sometimes someone who you don't know in a dream is probably not going to be raising as much stuff for you as someone you do know. Like, does that make sense? So you need to learn a really important lesson and it comes to you in a dream, and then you wake up and you're like, I better go tell that person that they were in my dream. That can make people a bit funny. But maybe having a dream about people you don't know is a safer way to do it. So there's three different that I'd go with, either past life, either someone who might be coming into your future, or a safe kind of dream landscape for your soul to play in.
Yeah, that's interesting. Bringing up past lives, I have learned so many past lives of myself, and that has really opened up a lot of knowledge of why I do things the way I do, and it's healed a lot of problems that I've had, just learning those things. So that's like a whole topic in itself, but it's something that's, if you're interested in exploring on your own too, I really suggest for you to check out Sal's course on that and just see where it takes you. But it's for those of you who are interested in it,
personal journey.
It really is. It really is. I've seen, I don't know how many of mine, I can't even count, but they all really kind of fit into my knowledge of this life. So, hi, Lisa. The leaf that floated by the window. It felt like it was my beloved one in heaven. Ooh.
Okay. So what made you feel like that? What was your first physical response?
Yeah. Let's see if we can come back to that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Hey, I love this. Demetrius, enjoying the journey on the road to self-discovery enlightenment. That's beautiful, beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you for sharing that.
That's a good one. I love that.
Let's see here. Okay. All right, Colleen, let's see what we have. Thought she was on the right path, and then have thought about calling to the angel cards and took a Doreen Virtue course, and now heard it's okay. So there is a lot of Doreen Virtue controversy right now. Yes. What are your thoughts on that, Sal?
Look, it's very...
I kind of thought that this would come up today.
Yeah, it's good. Look, I feel it's very understandable, and I've been in a few Facebook groups, and I actually posted one in one Facebook group yesterday about it, because I kind of wanted to make people aware of this that were like me, teaching and encouraging people to, do things that Doreen had taught me. And then when I found out, okay, she's not teaching that anymore, I thought I better let everyone I know know that she's not doing that anymore. Because just to be clear about that, because I didn't want them to think, oh, Sal told me that Doreen teaches, or Doreen, does tarot and this, and she doesn't do it. And so to get rid of confusion, I posted something in a group, and then ha, and I thought, oh, deleted that. Look, I feel like, to be honest, your path and what I became an angel intuitive in 2006, so a long time ago, when I think it was maybe only the third time she'd ever run them, and it helped me a lot through depression. It was a really powerful, I didn't go in there to be a professional, I went in there to help myself, and then on my journey became a professional, and I'll always be grateful to that path. And if someone that you've kind of loved and believed in and trusted suddenly changes their mind about things, I feel like you just go with your own journey with it and just go like, well, I still feel like mediumship can serve. She's had a spiritual epiphany of her own and gone off in a different direction. And, you know, and so we send her love on her way and say, but I still love mediumship. You know, she's pulled the Ascended Masters cards and the Ascended and the tarot and all that. And I go, well, I can't stop loving them because they're part of who I am now.
Right.
I mean, I learned tarot before, Doreen. I learned the traditional tarot, but in terms of Ascended Masters and all that, like I learned a lot of that through Doreen. And now that she's pulling all those books and pulling those they're not taught in the Bible, I've kind of gone, okay, well, where do I sit with that? And I go, well, I've loved her Jesus thing. I'm totally good with that. For me, I just take on board that I love the Ascended Masters, and I'm just going to take the good stuff and then, you know, leave anything else, really. So for you, sweetie, I would just go with what's in your heart. If you still feel like connecting with mediumship, like she's had a huge change of heart for whatever reason, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just her journey. It doesn't have to be your journey.
Right. Everybody's journey is different, and we, you know, we just have to let them do what they have to do. I learned so much from Breen. I took several of her courses too, and I'm so grateful I did. I'm grateful I learned what I did, and I felt like I connected with her during those courses. And I really, really developed a lot of information from you know, learning about the angels and the angel realm. And now I'm so connected to it that I'm grateful for it. So I can't, you know, it's just, she has to do what she has to do, and we have to do what we have to do. It's all part of our own journey, our own, you know, unique journeys.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading the question.
Carol, what is the best way to start to learn about angels, courses, books? Thank you. Okay.
Well, I mean, for me, it came through courses, and now I teach them through courses. So for me, course works really well. I like reading about it, but I'm a very hands-on person. So courses for me were good because there were practical activities, and I could, like in my How to Be Psychic group, people can engage and practice on each other and do angel readings for each other. So that for me works. Anything where you can get some practical experience in like that is always going to be better than a book, I feel. Like books can give you the theory and a bit of the waking up and feeling the epiphanies. But, you know, I feel like courses will give you so much more because you'll get and I also find as a teacher that, you know, my students often learn just as much from each other as they do from me, if that makes sense. Like I feel like everyone comes together as a gorgeous community in the courses that I teach anyway. And, you know, we all help each other on the learning journey. Like I can impale I can sort of give certain information and help and facilitate. So that's a really interesting, you know, journey. It's like, but I would definitely go courses first for angels. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I like both. I have so many books, as you can see over here. And it's just kind of shop around and see what resonates with you. And again, I'll put Sal's course at the end when this is posted, and you can look and see if there's something that resonates with you too. So is God or source first?
That's a really good question, because that's the question that's the kind of diversion that Doreen's path has now taken. So she used to say we could ask the angels for a healing, or we could ask them for anything. Now she says we have to go to the Creator and God first. Now, interestingly, this is what theta healing also teaches as well. So my healing background is actually that anyway. I'm not a fan, Colleen, of the word should. And that's just because I really feel like if you connect with angels yourself and that's how you do it and that's how you roll, then that's your journey. And I do like the idea, well, maybe I should connect with God first to make sure, like the theta healing mentality is that you connect with the Creator first to make sure that you are actually connecting with an angel and not a dark spirit. So I can see from that point of view that actually really works. But there's nothing wrong for me than walking along and you know, saying to an angel, oh, angel, can I find a car park, or angel, you know, or whatever. And a lot of the reason why Doreen was so hugely popular is because so many people had resistance to the God word. So people didn't feel comfortable asking God, you know, can I help finding my soulmate, or can I earn more money, or can I help, you know, people didn't feel comfortable with that. And so she was a transition between feeling comfortable calling on our higher guides or higher beings for intervention and for help and assistance in our lives.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That has probably been where it comes from. But I mean, Colleen, it's a completely personal opinion. I'm not a should person. I'm a whatever feels comfortable for you person.
I personally have used both. I mean, I use Source at times. I use angels at times. I mean, whatever comes to me. Yes, whatever comes to me at the moment of what I need to call upon, I do. And sometimes I call upon the whole host of everybody.
I do. Sometimes when I'm in a real pickle, I just go, oh my goodness, every single angel, light being, you know, God, everyone, come now. It's an emergency.
Yes, I've done that. So
whatever makes you feel better for me, that's my journey with angel work and working with God and working with the Creator personally. Yeah. But I understand why people would be nervous about not calling in God first. And I think if that's how you feel is the best way to connect, I would connect in that way.
Yes, absolutely. Do what's best for you. Yeah. I think this is a great point for Kathy saying thank you. Thank the Source, thank the Creator, thank the universe, whoever it is that you work with. You know, I love that. So thank you for posting that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. And this is awesome, Mike. You saw an angel. Ooh, wow. That's exciting. That is exciting.
Look, it is a profound moment when you see or feel something like that and the presence is there or the visual's there and it's so strong and, you know, it's really powerful. And you know, and as I was just saying earlier, you know, for those of you that have been trying this for a while and it hasn't happened immediately, you know, be patient with it. It comes in a beautiful time. And when it does, it's well worth being patient for.
Yeah. And don't you find too, and when you're okay with it and you accept it, it happens easier again next time and easier and easier and easier and easier.
Oh, look, for me, the angels often come to me through humor. Like in a way where I'm really in a sticky thing and something comes in that's so random. Okay, thank you. I get it.
Yes, yes.
You know, yes. They bang on my wall or they bang on my head, and that comes in. So yeah, look, it's pretty funny.
The more you work with it, the more you understand that that's them around you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
This we have. She was reading that if you are uncertain about whether the angels are listening or not, to ask them to have someone who doesn't call you to call you within 3 days. They called the next day. That's cool. I know several of people that are on this today that actually ask for signs that their angels are here or listening or helping or whatever. I do that too. Sometimes when I'm in a pickle too, I say, can you please show me that you're helping me with this? And every single time, I've got an answer. And I knew that was the answer. It was very clear.
Yes.
So that's cool.
That's fantastic, Alexis. Like that's really perfect. They called the next day.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is beautiful, Demetrius. Oh wow. Ask Archangel Michael for protection, guidance, messages, and signs. Yeah, I love that.
Me too. Look, every time I step into a venue or a crowd or something where I feel like the energy's not great, I do that. I really do.
Yeah.
I come in and say, Archangel Michael, quick emergency protection. Get the shield
up. I do too. Yes. So Mary, 98% of her dreams come true. So that's exciting. I don't know. It sounds exciting to me. I guess it depends on the dreams. But What do you think, Sal?
Look, that's phenomenal. You've obviously got a really strong connection, Mary, to your unconscious mind. And so if I were you, I would definitely write everything down and ask your questions before you go to sleep to see what else comes in. Like, that's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
I'm just going to plug my Mac in.
Meredith!
Meredith's here. Hello, gorgeous.
Meredith, how do you deal with fear of dreams coming true? So there you go.
Such a good question. Can I beg 1 second? My Mac is about to run out of charge.
Oh, yes, of course.
Plug it in. Okay.
As soon as okay.
Okay. So, Meredith, that is a really good question. And I, as someone who I have been plagued by nightmares my whole life, I have quite a propensity to them. And so now when I wake up and I have a really strong dream that someone I love is going to pass, especially because I've had dreams before where people have passed and they do, I do my own self-healing. I do with tapping. I do my own angel healings, and I just ask for clarity and I ask for healing about it, because I know, and I also ask, what is this dream trying to reveal to me? Like, what's it trying to say? Because often, if you're dreaming someone that you love is going to die and then you go into anxiety about it, there could be a totally different issue. So, for example, someone I'm very close to recently had a dream that their mother died, and, they were very anxious about it. And I said, look, I feel like it's because you're changing a lot and you're letting go of a lot of things that your mother has put on you, and you're really trying to find your own path in life. And so because of that aspect of your mother is dying. She's not dying. That aspect is. So I would definitely, ask, I would do, as I said, I do a lot of tapping to release my fears. I do a lot of my own theta healing. Crystals are great. Crystals are fantastic, like the blue lace agate for, releasing fears, and just call in your angels and ask your angels to reveal, what did that dream mean? Because you might find
there's so much symbolism in there too.
Yes.
A lot of times. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, as I said, I do frequently dream that people I love are in danger or they've passed, and it freaks me out, and, it hasn't happened. It just is something that I'm processing.
Sometimes it doesn't have to do with the person at all. It just has to do with you.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, Meredith, what I would do is I'd go and look at just saying, okay, why am I dreaming this? And, you can ask that, walk through the day. Why am I dreaming this? Why is this coming through to me? What does it mean? Is there a deeper symbolic meaning here that I'm not getting? And I'd work with that first, because very rarely is it going to be about someone, a danger thing.
Right.
I usually find it's quite a low percentage for me anyway that that bad dreams come true. It's quite a low percentage.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Lori, how do I work with that intuition and make it stronger regarding the dream that I had that came true?
Okay. So I would always, as we've talked about earlier, Lee, definitely meditation is a huge one. Walking in nature is a huge one. Calling in your angels, definitely. With dreams, I'm a big fan of a dream journal. You write down before you go to bed, and you say, what is it I need to know? And then when you wake up, you just start writing the first thing it is, even if you went to the butcher and bought some sausages and came home and it was beef, like whatever. Just write it down. I always give my dreams titles and dates. That's really important. And then you can go back and, reflect upon them in that way. I also like to keep those little journals of when I get psychic hits. So say if I get that feeling that someone's about to call, the phone rings and I go, I bet that's Jeannie. And I haven't heard from Jeannie in 3 months, and, and it's Jeannie. I will then, just note when I got it, and I'll be aware of, what am I going through right now? Because often psychic hits come to me when I'm feeling really clear. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's good to know. So that day I ate well and did a nice walk in nature, and I got a few more psychic hits. So I kind of try to be aware of what it is that I have done in the day that's maybe deepened my intuition.
Yes. I keep a meditation journal.
Oh, perfect. Even better. Yes.
Because that's more my thing. I'm more of a meditator than a dreamer. I'll dream occasionally, but yeah, I keep a very detailed meditation journal because I get so much information and I don't want to forget it.
Yes.
And so it's like, So I'm a big fan of journaling in altogether anyway. So.
But in terms of your intuition, I think probably, and I know people probably don't like hearing this answer too much, but there's not really, one defined way that's just going to, it's a lifelong journey. And I honestly believe that, like my intuition, it's been a part of my own journey as a human being here on earth. And for you, like, just start trying things, start looking at those, working with your angels and spirit guides, start looking at crystals and meditation and it's, I don't think there's one single thing you can do. I think there's like many things you can do.
Yeah, I think so too, because I use so many different things all day. I use the crystals, I use the angels, I use the meditation. I combine everything all into, my whole day of everything.
But Laurie, can I just add, what was it, Laurie? I think one last thing.
Laurie.
One last thing you can do that's really highly effective is to notice how you feel in certain environments. So like a really good example is the other night I went out with a girlfriend of mine and we had just only 2 glasses of wine and she's going through a really tough time right now. And I woke up with an absolutely awful hangover and I couldn't sleep all night and, I felt awful. The next night I went out with a bunch of writers people and we were celebrating the end of 3 years of our writing course and everyone was in a happy mood and I'd had like a few glasses of champagne. I drank more, but woke up totally fine. And so start being aware of how you feel around certain people, like just tune into your own body and go, okay, am I feeling happy? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling tense? Am I feeling nervous? And, pick your friends, the ones that are often usually happy, the ones that are not in a very good mood, and, go and spend some time with them and just get a feeling for how you feel being around them. Because that kind of super awareness really opens up your intuition a lot.
Yes, that's great advice. Absolutely. Yeah.
That helps.
Demetrius, what is the difference between soulmate and twin flame? This is an awesome question.
That's a great question. Thank you, Demetrius. Look, for me, a twin flame is, and this is just me, I'm certainly not the world expert on this one, but a twin flame would be someone that you go through your life with as a partner, whether in a marriage or a partnership. A soulmate for me is someone who can be a dog. It can be your best friend. It can be your mother. It can be your sister. I feel like soulmates come in and out of your life. And, I feel like, you might meet one when you're 14. I feel like, that energy of a soulmate's different. I feel like a twin flame is something that's probably, I don't know, I don't want to say permanent because I don't like that word, but I feel like that's something that is the person you're going, I don't like to say you're meant to be with, but that's someone who, it's a different connection. Like you're here on earth together to learn sexuality and to learn relationships and to learn all that, whereas you can have a soulmate, like a sister or a best friend that you're not necessarily meant to learn those lessons with. Does that make sense, Dimitri?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
That's just a personal opinion and people feel so different about it, but that's my kind of personal feeling. I feel like I have friends that are my soulmates that I just, oh my God, they're so in my heart. And then, and so,
I think we have a soul family too. We have a soul family where people just, when we're in the soul space, it's just, we have all those that are going to help us down here. And it can be a relation, it can be a friend, it can be somebody we just met. And I think that's happened a lot, actually, when you just connect on that level and it just makes sense and it clicks.
Thank you.
It can be more than one,
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can have so many of them. That's like an abundance of soulmates.
Yeah. So Jody, here we go. I think I had an angel encounter when in the hospital for radiation. The hospital roommate was a stranger, brought her so much peace, and she disappeared from the bedside. When I asked about her, where she went, no one knew who she was talking about. How can I reconnect to her?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
That definitely, that experience, that's huge. And
oh, did we lose you, Sal? Uh-oh. I think we lost Sal. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, let's see. I don't know what happened. All right, give me some yeses if you can still hear me. Hey, Zane. Hey, Maria. Yes, Cynthia, you can hear me. I don't know what happened to Sal. Hopefully she'll come back. That was a good question too. All right, let me see here. Not sure. She's in Australia and her internet is completely different than what we have. And hopefully she can go back and come back in. And looks like she's trying that. All right. And I'm trying to go back to this question here so we can see what we... Oh, hi, there we go. You're back. Yay. All right. Oh, are you still there?
Cool. Our Australian internet.
Yes, I was explaining that. Okay, go ahead.
Any Australians that are in the room will feel my pain. we don't have very good internet. Okay, Jody, the way you can connect with her is I would just, every day when you're walking in nature, when you go, they're the best times for me, like walking in nature, funnily enough, doing the dishes, like having a shower, doing anything to do with water for me, walking by the river, that opens me up. And I would just ask her and say, thank you so much, Angela. I mean, amazing her name's Angela, the angel name. And just say, Angela, thank you so much for that comfort you gave me. Thank you so much. And then what I would do is, release that to the angels, release that to God.
I think you're stuck.
It will come back in. You'll get some beautiful connection. You might dream about her or she might come back in at another stage. So just go for a beautiful walk and put it out there and just say, I really want to connect with you. And
be open to receiving her signs and messages, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in on that beautiful energy.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. We've got so many questions here, and these are all awesome questions.
Yes, thanks for the great questions, guys. They're awesome.
Yes. Kathy, when you lose a child, why do you dream of them so seldom? How can you dream about them more?
That's a really good question. That's a really interesting one. And
so it sounds like she's trying to connect through the dream world.
More. And it depends, I guess, can I ask how long it's been? Because I think there's often, mediums have a different understanding of when the soul passes over. And I know for my husband who lost his father 18 months ago, and his father was like his mother to him. It was the most devastating thing ever. And he was really worried because he didn't dream about him for a long time. And then he started dreaming about him. 14 years. Okay. So that soul would have crossed over. I would just ask, I would say, look, I really want to dream with you and connect with you. And, I really want to feel like I know where you are and that you're safe. And understand a bit more about our soul journey together as mother and child and understand where that came from. I would just continually ask about that. I would completely ask and say, how can I connect with you more? Any kind of meditation, guided meditations to go within will really help a lot. Definitely.
Yes.
If you are open to mediumship, I would go to a really gifted medium. And see if there's anything that's blocking that. There might be something in your own fears or unconscious fears that you're not aware, see if there's anything interfering on that level. That's probably what I would try to do in that obviously extremely painful example.
Okay. Yeah. Deborah, is it true that Archangel Michael and Jesus are the same being?
That's it. Look, I've heard that. It's interesting. I've heard that before. I've heard that Thoth and Merlin are the same, and Pythagoras and, someone else, maybe Thoth, are the same. I don't know. Like for me, I see them very different, and I feel and I experience them very different. And as I said, I mean, I did learn a lot of my own stuff on my own. I also trained through Doreen Virtue, and she taught that Jesus was an ascended master, and obviously she's revoked that now. But that's how I kind of felt. I felt that Archangel Michael was an archangel, and Jesus was a human who had come to earth. Mm-hmm. So for me, they're two different things. As far as I understand, Archangel Michael has never lived as a human being. So for me, they're different. But I always say this when I teach about angels. I say, look, if you see Gabrielle and you see, Raphael as the same being, that's what you're seeing. And you don't have to, for me, there's never a right or wrong way of connecting with guides and angels. It's what comes through for you.
Yes. And that's true. Different guides will come to different people. Like I know some more work with the angels, and some work more with the masters, and some work more with the creator. So everybody's unique and different.
Yeah. So, I would just worry, like the only thing I'd ever worry about is when people going, oh, you can't do this and you shouldn't do this. And it's like, unless it's hurting other people, I really feel like your journey and connection with spirit and source and angels and ascended masters is your beautiful, unique journey.
Yes.
That's my own personal opinion anyway.
Yeah. Zane, hey, what's the best advice for people who are starting to work with angels?
Oh, that is a good question. I get that a lot with my How to Be Psychic course, a lot. I would definitely take it slowly. Try not to build up too many expectations that they meant to look like this and sound like this, and that, just really take it slowly and just start very simply. Like the simple ways are to be like, okay, what is it I need to know today? Show me a sign about something. Ask a question, ask a question, get an answer. It might take 3 days, but just start really gently. And start to learn more about them, start to learn about what angels do what. And look, and again, but if you're someone who's not really into courses, you don't have to take that path. Like I often channel through angels that I've never heard of. And I go, oh, I don't know who you are. What are you doing here?
Yes.
I don't even pronounce your name. So, when that happens, just if you don't see them straight away or you don't get a message straight away, just take some time out. Check out if you're stressed or you're exhausted or you're worn out. Ask the guides, are there any things that's blocking me? And, really just take it very slow. We live in a very instant gratification culture where we want things to be accomplished in 5 seconds. And as I said, I keep talking about it as going to the gym or learning to sail. Like you learn to sail, you don't do it on the first day. You just keep trying. You keep those skills become second nature. So
it does. That's like developing, like what we were talking about earlier, developing your gifts. It's the same thing with talking to the spirits or angels or guides, or whoever it might be. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and it just starts to happen more naturally.
Yes. So I would be also, Zane, one last thing, I'd just be really open-minded. Like that's my best advice. Just be really open-minded about what's going to come in for you, and just continually ask. And if you're having struggles and you're feeling blocked, that's usually how I would start it.
All right. So we are almost out of time already. These hours fly by so fast. And Sal said she would pull a group card for a message that we all need to hear right now, for those of us watching and those who will watch the replay, of course. And so what have you got for us today, Sal? What's the message?
My magic box. So every week on my business page, my Sal Jade Clairvoyant business page, I do a 3-card spread for everyone for their week. Like just to say, okay, what do my angels, my guides, the creator need to tell me about this week? So I'm going to do that for you guys. And I use tarot. I use 4 different tarot decks, and it's very uncivilized, but I mush them all up in here instead of I just do it very, intuitively. And I just say, okay, what is it that everybody that's going to watch me or tune into me or watch, connecting with my post, what is it they're going to need to know right now to navigate this week? So I'm going to give you guys a card from one of the 4 tarot decks that I have to say, you know, what is going to help me in the next week? What's the best wisdom of the next week? Because tarot cards often have many layers of, you know, information they can help us with. So,
and Sal is an expert tarot teacher. So if you're interested in learning the details of tarot, please contact her.
Okay, let's go through. Blank on them. Okay, what does everybody in this group need to know for their best and highest good? Anyone who's watching it? Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, sounds good so far.
Okay, I have pulled the 8. Now, can you guys see that? Is it glary?
It is. Oh, hold it there just a moment. Okay, now we can. All right.
That is the glorious wands. The 8 of this one comes from the Celtic Llewellyn deck, and it has a lot of references to Celt mythology. And you know, instead of the emperor, it uses a Celtic king. Beautiful deck. And so the 8 of Wands says that things that, you know, it's all about, wands are all about fire and action. And in this particular case, it's saying that for everyone tuning in right now, that what you put into play and what you have been working on is going to start falling into place this week. So that means...
Oh, I need that.
Yay! It means your arrows are going to start landing, you know. So things are going to start hitting a nice high point for you where, you know, it might not be the completion of the cycle, but it feels like you can do a few little eurekas and, you know, like, oh that worked out. Thank you. You know, like,
good.
Perfect card. For anyone out there, it's one of my favourite cards, the 8 of Wands, because it just says, you know, all that effort and work you've been doing, it's paying off this week. So the next 7 days, it's going to be, you're going to hit a beautiful winning victory and a eureka moment. And it's almost like for me, this card, it's almost like a softening. It's like, oh, thank goodness that worked out.
Sometimes we need that reassurance that things are finally going to, you know, come together and things are finally going to just work out, and things, you know, you work hard and hard and hard and hard, and just sometimes you don't see where you're going, and it's nice to see that yay.
Beautiful 8 of Wands. I'm just going to turn it around because I love the image on the back of this one.
Thank you. Thank you for that message. Oh, that's exciting. I'm so excited about that. Absolutely. Hey, everybody, if you would just give us a warm thank you to Sal for joining me today. Thank you, Sal, so much. Like I said before, she's my mentor, and I just love working with her. And when this is posted, I'm going to put her Facebook page, her website, and her course page in case you want to look into her courses. I highly recommend any of them. So please do so, and reach out to her if you need some readings or healings or whatever the case may be. And I hope that we can have her back again someday in the future too. So we've got all these.
Shout out to Sherry. I just saw Sherry there.
Wonderful. Thank yous. Thank yous. Thank you.
Great questions, guys. Thank you, Brenda. Big love. Thank you. I can see you, Sherry. Thank you. And Mary.
Oh, and Mary always sends the blessings. I love that, Mary. Thank you so much. Oh, yay. Oh, gosh, this is wonderful. I'm sorry it could only be an hour today. We could go on for hours, but unfortunately, time has run out.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yes, it was a fun time, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you all for just joining us today. It was an awesome group and questions, and it always is. And we'll be back again for the next one soon, so watch for that. And Crystal Angel, blessings to you. All right, yes. Thank you. Good night. Bye. Bye.